All right. The Last of Us 2 won't have a multiplayer after all. I mean, let's read it. The Last of Us Part 2 won't have a multiplayer after all. Sorry, faction fans. The Last of Us Part 2 will not have a multiplayer mode. It turns out The Last of Us Part 2 actually won't have a multiplayer mode, contrary to reports last year saying otherwise. Let me zoom this in a little bit. An event earlier this week, Naughty Dog lead game designer Emilia Schwartz confirmed the lack of multiplayer in an interview with US Gamer. And a follow-up after the event, Sony reconfirmed the news. We're focusing on the single-player experience. So we're just making a single-player game for this. Schwartz said during the event when asked about the sort of form the previous confirmed multiplayer would take. Correct. It's a single-player game. A Sony representative confirmed. Representative subsequently clarified over email. Previously at E3 2018, Kurt Marganow and Anthony Newman confirmed the outlets such as Polygon and GameStop The Last of Us multiplayer would be making a comeback. For a long time, it was a trend traditionally single-player games to get shoehorned in the multiplayer mode. Naughty Dog's The Last of Us was among them, but surprisingly, its faction players multiplayer was pretty robust and inspired. It even let you link your Facebook account for the survivors. We also talked with Schwartz in depth with the biggest gameplay change in the sequel, such as overhauling UI.
Good morning, Sancho.
Morning. So I didn't want to believe it, but I've kind of known for the longest time, or I had a gut feeling for the longest time. Casey, thank you for the 13 months of hype in the chat. I've kind of known for the longest time, in a gut feeling, that they won't have a Last of Us Part 2 multiplayer. I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to acknowledge it. But I've known in my gut feeling that they weren't going to have it. Just based on the way Naughty Dog, how multiplayer's experiences were, in a sense of that it was always single player over the multiplayer. Always. When it comes to like assets and, you know, pulling talent, all those kinds of stuff, single player always took precedent. But I had known this in my gut, man, and it is a bummer. And that is why when I started playing Fortnite and all these other kind of places, I told myself that I can't build my channel around one game or one developer, because if something like this happens, The Last of Us not having a multiplayer, then I would be you know, up a creek with no paddle, so to speak. So it's bummer, man. It's straight bummer. It really is. But like I mean, like, for all those people that are big fans of the multiplayer, like I am, fans of me playing the multiplayer, I knew it. You know, I just didn't want to believe it. And I told you guys, I told everybody, I kept saying it. If you're watching my streams, every time I kept saying it. You know, I've not just Naughty Dog devs, but all devs. You know, they rather you know, they don't want to break your heart right away sometimes. And you know, and it's not that they're lying, but they know they can't tell you the truth, which is a weird thing to say. But I know that, you know, Anthony Newman was a big fan of The Last of Us multiplayer. He did a lot of the animations. So for a co-director saying that there would be multiplayer lets me believe that they wanted it, because those guys, big fans of multiplayer. They're always there for streams and things of that sort. So I mean, who knows? Maybe it comes down later down the road. I mean, not to be all bummed out about it, but I mean, who knows? They may introduce like a BR later or a multiplayer later. But there was reports that there was only showing single player. But it's a bummer, man. I mean, I made over 500 videos for The Last of Us multiplayer. You know what I mean? 500 videos for Last of Us multiplayer, and it's a fantastic game. And the only thing I could say about it, if you wanted my take, is that Naughty Dog, Sony, you have one of the greatest multiplayers of all time on your hands. And if I know you want to focus on the single player experience, and I know maybe us faction multiplayers don't make a huge dent, maybe, but you have a fantastic multiplayer. You have a talented multiplayer team, that make experiences beyond their means, and you should reconsider. You should reconsider. But yeah, man. Like I said, wrap it up. Most likely this will be a YouTube upload. But to wrap it up, I had a gut feeling, man. I didn't want to believe it. Some of the you know, it's a bummer. Bummer, dude. This is a big day that totally changes Last of Us, where we are as a community. So I'm reaching out to you guys, YouTube. I wouldn't say go all up in arms and riot and whatnot. I know that's the thing that the internet likes to do. We could approach this in a respectful way. See where it goes. That's why I'm just simply making my plea, you know? Just reconsider, because you have gold. Gold!